Alex, what are your immediate thoughts after today's defeat?
Frustration. I think that the game had very little in it. I didn't think there was much in the game at all. I thought that they started better. I didn't think we coped in the first 15-20 minutes of the game in terms of the first ball up. I thought we were a bit too deep. I thought we didn't really pick up enough in the middle because the game became stretched. And then I thought 15 minutes before half time, I thought we did better. The game became much more even. But at that point, we've lost a goal. It's a direct ball up to the striker. He manages to sort of knock it down there. Midfield player lands on it and then gets a shot away for 25 yards and it ends up in the net. So, for that perspective, it's really disappointing. And obviously we need to then chase the game. I thought second half, for the first 30 minutes, I thought we were the better side. I thought we had some decent opportunities. Ben ends up with the ball in the back of the net, which I think will be harsh. I haven't seen it back, but there was one in the first half where Matt gets leaned into and they allow the play to go on, and we do the same with their goalkeeper for Ben's goal, and they stop it and give a foul. And then we've got one for Lewis at the edge of the box where it hits a ricochet, could land anywhere, and it lands right in the middle of the goal for the goalie. And obviously Ty has a decent chance as well. And then I think there's one for Dijon where we probably should have a penalty and we didn't get it. There were a couple of moments in the game as well, but like I say, there was very little in the game. But frustratingly for us, we find ourselves with no points.
What was your thoughts on the nature of the goal?
Disappointing, because it's something we spoke about. The difficulty we've got at the moment is they're very good at pressing the ball. The pitch is not particularly big. There was one moment we tried to get the ball out at the start and it caused ourselves a bit of an issue and we ended up kicking the ball out. So what we wanted to do was to turn the ball. The difficulty we've got is we haven't got somebody who's 6 foot plus that we can put the ball forward to, and we're hitting uphill. And I think when you hit uphill and then you change it in the second half, it certainly does make a difference, because second half we're getting into their half much easier than we found it in the first half. And they're really dangerous in transition, they're quick in the break. So we don't really want to open the back line up too much because that's one of their key strengths. And I think whoever gets the first goal probably goes on to win the game. And yeah, disappointingly for us in the first 30 minutes, we didn't really do enough in that spell to merit ourselves getting the lead.
In terms of landing on those second balls, do you feel as though someone like Ben Pearson is going to make a big difference?
Yeah, but listen, I don't want to talk about players who are not featuring in the team, because in the second half for 30 minutes, the lads that were on the pitch landed on second balls great. So it's not a case of we're not capable of doing it or somebody else could do it better. It's just for that spell, and it happens in games sometimes. I've been there myself as a midfield player. Sometimes you get there and the ball lands wrong side of you, sometimes you then drop off and it lands in front of you. And it's just trying to anticipate things. It's making sure that your mate behind you can win the first battle, which is difficult against 2 6-foot centre forwards, and try and get the momentum going in that way rather than coming against us. And I thought in their spell they obviously made it count, and in our spell, although we arguably scored a goal, it got disallowed and we couldn't find that solution.
Jacob could have won a penalty in the second half. What was your opinion on that?
Yeah, I thought it looked like a penalty when it happened. But when you're sitting here talking about penalties that didn't happen, it's nobody really wants to hear that. We didn't get the decision, and ultimately we didn't do enough to get something for the game because we couldn't score a goal.
You handed Sarkic his debut. How do you feel as though he fared?
I don't think he had much to do. I thought he'd won that. I think he collects for 30 yards. The goal I'd have to have a look back at. There's a couple where he comes and punches and does well. There's probably one he doesn't do so well in the second half where he sort of pops it down rather than getting a good fist on it. But all in all, I didn't think there was huge amounts for him to do in the game.
Josh Tyman was forced off just before half time. What's the latest on him?
We don't know yet. Well, he's been sort of, I think he's went to the hospital, so I think that sort of shows you the severity where we think it is, which is really disappointing. At the time when the tackle happened, I followed the ball, so I didn't really see how bad the tackle actually was. I seen the initial sort of coming together, but we'll just need to see what the scans say.